So what we've done over here now is we've converted that query into a table. So that's why we have this step over here. Now let's assume we want to convert this query into a callable function. It's very simple to do that. To convert a query into callable function, what we need to do here is we need to go to Advanced Editor. It opens up a window. We just need to say open braces, give a parameter name such as start and replace that and give it an arrow mark. Copy that into the place where you want to change it. As soon as you can write this query has turned into a function and it would generate a UI for you to generate a list out of it. You'll see the old existing data at the below grid in the background that it shows 2020 as an year calculated basis this, which we are going to replace. Now it will erase this data and throw up a parameter window, and it is start as a function. And if you look over here, it's not generated from this one, it's a brand new one from the query. So we can say I want to check for the year 2021, and when I say invoke, that means it's calculating basis a query, and it would take us for 366 days of 2021. That would be 2022, January 1, 2022. Let's check. Perfect. So in this way, we saw a couple of things. What does reference mean? When you refer a table or a query, it basically points to the same query or a table. Then if you duplicate a query, it creates a duplicate query. 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 3. A duplicate, a same set as of date gets copied over, and it's an independent clone of that data to be worked upon. Now the third option what we saw was create a function. So we converted a query into function by writing certain pieces of code in the editor, which was this, and we say done. Okay, so there we are looking at different ways in which the M query can help us. How can we convert it into function? Now moving on, have you come across a scenario wherein you've been working on Power BI and you are supposed to do same set of actions and transformations on similar set of file coming across at different days? It can be a report coming out from your system. It can be a report generated manually at the end of a month or end of a quarter, end of an year. And you get the same file. You process this file in the same steps and the same way and import it into Power BI. So doing this ideally would consume a lot of your time, and you would have to rather do a repetitive mundane work and ensure that things are in sync. How about if I tell you, you code once, you program once, and then keep calling it over and over again? What about it? So today, now an advanced topic of transformation would be how to call functions and make use of it on the same set of data. Alright, so now let's import a file. It's a CSV file. Let's go into all file. And to show you there are two files with the same format, let's work on this piece right now. This is the data what I've got. This is how it would look like after the import. I say it seems it's right, so I say load. Alright, now the file has come into our system. Yes, where it is, yes, C to import. If I see the table content, it does have all the files. Let's check and update the query window. Let's go into the modeling aspect of it. And see where it is. Fine. Now we have this bit of information with us. If we go back and try to clean this system, for example, let's call this, let's do here, this is fine. Let's go into modeling. We convert this into numbers, whole numbers. That's changed. We say okay, import. We move on. All right. All right. We go into edit query. Yes. Now let's format this data. We say this should be of the type integer, which it is. This should be type of number, which it is. We do not want to show this data, so probably we can remove this. This is one transformation. We want to clean this by removing the colons, so we'll go replace values, not here but in here, and we say replace values of colon with nothing. So you see the colons are gone. What else do I need over here is the numbers are right, transformation this is right, and more or less this is sorted. That's fine. So overall this is what things are, and if I have to change it to number, it is, this is okay. I don't like the format which is coming over here, so I would like to split this column and this column rather into address 1 and address 2, and I would like to have telephone number in single numeric value. What would I do is, again I'll call this as dash, replace it with nothing. It's not present. Okay. And it goes into an others column. Is it so? Let's check. No, this is not right. So let's change this. I say this. I say replace. I say blank dash with nothing. There you are. So you need to keep checking what the modifications you need to do. Now, I don't like this term. So what I'll do is, I would like to split the column. I would say by number of characters, and I would say specific characters, and I say into split into number of columns to split. Okay, there we are. We've changed the type into address 1. We can rename it. We can rename it building name, and I say okay. I think more or less this is what is the transformation looking like, and I say close and apply. This is setting in what changes we've done. So if let the changes get over, now let's have a look at the data. If I say yes, it has all the data what I've modified. Hyphens are removed, school name is there, building name and address 2 is there. Let's move towards the end, and if I have to do this over and over again on a different thing, I would like to do step 1, go into edit query, then I would like to this Let's do one thing. Extract the previous, make it into intro steps. I say okay, that's moved out. So intro steps are here, and then I would try to group these instead. Yes, so I have a list of all the transformations what we have done on the imported Excel sheet. And I believe these same steps I would have to repeat in any of the Excels coming back to me in future. So let's do one thing. The two first steps which I feel I do not need, because by any import these two steps are getting added by default. So to do that, what I'll do is I click here and I say extract previous, and I say you can use any name to starting point, for example, and you say okay. So essentially you have moved all the redundant steps out which you will anyway get while you import any new file. This is the crux of the matter. Anything from source till the end is what is important to us. Now what I'm doing, please be careful and understand it carefully, is I go into the advanced editor after removing the unwanted things. I say copy the source, I comment this section out, and I say paste, and I give an arrow mark. Now what happens is this is a function call which I can use it anywhere where I want, right? This is my function call. Now to call this, I will have to use some query parameter. So to call this, let's now import a new file. That file is again a second file of the same format which I had. Just have a look at what it has. You'd see it does not have the split of the address. It still has hyphens. It still has the active column which I have removed, and additionally there are some semicolons if there are. So those are not here. Okay, and I say okay. I bring in the content. Now what I do over here is I'll just say add insert a step, and I'll call the function, and bang, you go. You've seen everything getting applied without ever getting or repeating the steps. Now you say apply and close, and there we are. Perfect. If you have a look at this, both the tables have the same kind of data. And let's see the second table. It also has the same split what it had, although it's a new data. And this table is also having the same kind of data. So together we can make use of this in a much better way, and on this further operations can be performed.